Show of the Week.
Woo. Welcome back to Show of the Week, the weekly segment where we talk musical theater and where I wear flannel. This week, I've been thinking a lot about Hadestown. If you're watching this channel, I assume you know something about Hadestown. It was nominated for like a bazillion Tony Awards, and it's just beautiful, right? The story of Orpheus and Eurydice reset in this kind of half New Orleans jazz, half Middle America, oh brother, where art thou styled resetting. Beautiful, stunning, interesting, and getting kind of old now. And like, don't get me wrong, not getting old in like a I'm tired of it kind of way, but getting old in like, if you go back to the show's 2006 roots, it's 18 years old. This show can drive. And I find that particularly interesting about this show because, well, this is a show where Orpheus wants to write a song that is going to save the world, right? He wants to write a song that is going to end this famine or this cold, or, you know, that's what the Greek myth is about. And it makes me think about Anaïs Mitchell, because she's been writing this thing, she had been writing this thing for so long, and had been touring it, and, you know, had this kind of concert of it, even before it ever reached Broadway. And I try hard not to read authors too much into their own work, but this one seems pretty clear-cut. Like, we're writing a song to save the world, we're writing a concert or a musical or whatever this is to comment on or maybe cure the world of its ails. That's a strong undertaking, but that's also what a lot of artists are trying to do, don't you think? And it makes you start to wonder what it must feel like to be done with your art, right? Like, the show is complete. It's finished. It has had probably one of the most rigorous workshops of musical theater in recent history. You know, between starting off not even as a musical, then, you know, being inspired by seeing Rachel Chavkin's direction of Great Comet, shout out GC, to then turning into this fully fledged Broadway musical to now being done. And this has been on my mind because the show recently passed The Music Man as on the list of longest running shows. And there is, if you've ever browsed that Wikipedia article like I do almost on a weekly basis, you're gonna see there is this middle ground of 1,200 to like 16 or 1,700 nights shows of playing that a lot of like really popular shows sit in. The Music Man lives there, Sound of Music sits there, How to Succeed in Business sits there, and now Hadestown sits there. So like, that means this thing is canon now. This thing belongs to the corpus of musical theater compositions, you know. It has surpassed some kind of threshold in my brain that makes it now as famous and long-lasting as The Sound of Music has been. I wonder if that's a lot to take on as an artist, especially when your piece is kind of about uniting people through art, finding love through art, defeating our capitalist overlords through art, getting past the divisive politics of the world through art, combating global warming through art. All of this, if we can just write that one song. I don't know if that was always Mitchell's goal when she was writing this thing. I mean, maybe. It seems so tied into it. Maybe she was just off to write a good story, as so many of us are. But her good story has turned into a great story. It's a story that so many people will know. And it's in a piece that is self-referential in that way, that it talks about, that's an old song and we're gonna sing it again and again and again and again and again until we've sung it more times than The Music Man. Obviously, not more times yet. The Music Man has a movie and, you know, 1,000 other incarnations, but Hadestown is well on its way. Anyway, it's heartening to think about a piece that has found such a lasting voice, that has been so impactful, and one that is so beautiful and stunning, and yet so simple and quaint at the same time. One that is always familiar and still makes the lady in the back row gasp every time Eurydice turns around. Has it had the real-world effect that Orpheus wants his song to have? Part of me wants to say no, and part of me wants to say not yet. Hadestown. It's the show of the week. Go listen to it, and I'll see you next week.